Hi everyone, in this video we are going to be talking about bar graphs. Please turn to page 192 of your Jump Math 3.2 book and you can work along with me. Now before we get started, let's talk about some of the key characteristics of bar graphs. Let's take a look at the bar graph in the top right hand corner. You'll notice that there's some things that all bar graphs have. If we look at both of these bar graphs, what are some similarities that you see between both of those bar graphs? The first thing you might notice, of course, is that they have bars, right? This one has bars that go horizontally. This one has bars that go vertically, because bar graphs can do that. They can go horizontal, they can go vertical. So that's probably the first thing that stands out for you. What else do you notice is similar about these bar graphs? What do all bar graphs have? Did you say that they both have a title? Because they do. You have to put a title on your bar graph so that people understand what your data is all about. Okay, what else do these bar graphs have? Do you notice that they both have a scale? Okay. Are the scales the same on these two bar graphs? No, they're not. You can change your scale based on the amount of data you have. All right, so keep that in mind. Scales can change depending on what your data is and how much of it that you have. So take a look at the scale. Runs in this one along this axis, and the scale runs along this axis on this bar graph. Okay, that's another thing about bar graphs. Do you see this darkened L line here? And it's also here. These are called axis lines, okay? And it's where you put your scale, and it's where you put the headings for your bar graph, okay? Speaking of headings, let's look at the labels that are used on the bar graphs. Do you notice this one? These were the types of juice flavors. This is what was used to collect the data. So apple, grape, mango, and orange are our labels for our bar graph, whereas in this one it's about favorite ways to travel. So car, plane, train are labels that we'll use on this bar graph. Okay, there's also some other bar graphs running along the side. This tells you what the scale represents. It's people, number of friends. Okay, this one is number of students. Okay, so that's another label required on a bar graph. And then the headings themselves get a label. These were ways to travel here, and juice flavors run along here. So bar graphs are very specific. Everything must be labeled. So make sure everything is labeled. Make sure you have a title. Make sure you have a scale, and then go ahead and put your bars in. That's the key stuff about using bar graphs. Okay, so taking a look at this bar graph, you are going to answer these questions, all right? So Tessa asked her friends which juice they like best. She made a bar graph to show the results. What was the most popular flavor? Well, popular would be the one they chose more of, so you're going to write that one down. And then B says, what was the least popular flavor? Well, that's going to be the one that has the smallest bar, basically. Letter C, Roy wants to bring the two most popular flavors of juice to a party. Which flavors of juice should he bring? So look for those two most popular. And letter D asks, what number does the scale skip count by? That's a great question, because this scale can change. What is it skip counting by here? All right, write that down in this space. And then I want you to skip count to fill in the chart. 10 students liked apple, and you're going to fill in how many liked grape, mango, and orange using that scale. Let's look at this scale, because they ask us to calculate this a little bit differently. All right? It says Rick asked his classmates if they liked traveling by car, plane, or train the most. He shows the answers in a bar graph. So what number does the scale skip count by? It's different than the first question, so take a look. The bar for car travel is how many blocks long? And when they say block, they mean these blocks here, like on a grid, okay? So we'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 blocks long. Each block shows how many students? Well, we know each block is 3. So you'd write 3 here. So this is what they did here. There were 5 blocks. 5 groups of 3 is 15. Is that right? Yes, our answer is correct, okay? For plane, how many blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4. So our multiplication would be 4 groups of 3, 3 being our scale. What's that equal? Well, it's going to be whatever it comes to here, all right? And you're going to do the train one on your own. Okay, let's take a look at the next page. All right, we are now on page 193. This one asked 100 people, and this is really important, this number here, because you'll need it to do some calculations down below, okay? A national park asked 100 people to vote for their favorite activity in the park. Some results are shown in the table. Do you see not all results are shown? You'll have to figure that out. How many people did not choose cycling? Well, we don't know how many did choose cycling, but we know these people chose boating, these people chose hiking, and these people chose swimming. So your job is going to be to add these numbers up. 50 plus 15 plus 10. That will tell you how many people did not choose cycling. How many people chose cycling now? Here's what you'll have to do. Once you get this number, find the difference between 100 and this number. That'll tell you how many people chose cycling. Fill it in on the table. It's a finding the difference or a subtraction question. 100 minus this number will give you this number. All right? What number does the scale in the bar graph in part E count by? What do you see? That's a bigger scale, isn't it? That's for large amounts of data. So write that scale down here. Now you're going to fill in this table using this data. Okay, for boating, 10 people chose boating. Now to find out how many blocks we should fill in, I guess it goes this way, we're going to take our number 10 and divide it by our scale, and that'll tell us 2 blocks. So the length of the bar is 2 blocks. So you're going to take boating and go 1, 2 bars. And I bet you that'll bring us right to 10. And look at that, it did, okay? So let me just show you what that would look like as an example, okay? There were 10 people, so take just the data from there. We know there's 10 people who like boating. To find out how many bars we're gonna fill in, we're gonna divide it by the scale, okay? Our scale is 5, okay? So 10 divided by 5 equals 2 blocks, so here's what we're gonna do. 1 block, 2 blocks. And we're going to fill that in. And there's our first bar for boating. Your job is going to be to do cycling. So you're going to take whatever you find out here, whatever that number is, you're going to write it here. You're going to divide it by 5 to find out how many blocks to fill in. All right? With hiking, take that number 15 and apply it to the chart. Okay? I can't do it for cycling because I don't have that answer yet. So hiking was 15. See how I'm taking the data? Putting it here. I want to find out how many of these blocks I'm going to fill in. So I'll write 15 divided by 5 equals something. And that'll tell me how many of these blocks to fill in for hiking. All right? Remember, when you're dividing, skip count by 5 until you get to 15 to get your answer. Then you just have to do swimming and then fill in the bar graph, please. Okay, with this information, fill this chart in here. Now this is your last page. We're doing a lot of bar graph work today. Grade 3 students, hey, that's you, collected coats for charity. They collected 3 times as many coats in January as in December. 3 times. You're going to multiply this number by 3 times, okay? Let's see, they collected 6 more coats in February than in December. Altogether, they collected 18 coats. So use the clues above. This is a bit of a fun puzzle. Use the clues above to fill in the missing bars. Okay, so use this information. I don't want to give it away to you, but you'll have to figure that out to fill in the missing bars. Okay? In which month did students collect the most coats? So now once you fill in this chart, you will answer these questions here. All right? Now this one is a notebook question, so you don't have to do that one. Okay? If you'd like to, and you have extra time and you want to, perhaps you can fill in the answers there, but you don't have to. All right? Okay, everybody, that is your lesson on bar graphs for today. I hope you could work along with me, open up your book, and it'll be easy as pie. If you have any questions, just email me and I'll get back to you right away. Okay, everybody, have a great day.